kind of similar to yesterday because we're using the same strategy, right? What example did we end off or end with?
4.
We finished 4. Okay, so we're on example 5, and we're just gonna make sure that we're like, yep, we got it. This is we feel great about this. So first fraction is 2 over r equals 1 over 4r squared plus 6r minus 3 minus r over 2r squared plus 3r. Okay. There's the problem. So, what should we do? Yeah, look at our denominators, find a common denominator first. So this is just an r. What's this denominator? We can't do that because this is a plus in between its 2 terms. So we can't break it down like a monomial. Plus 3, okay. And then how about the third one? Okay. So our common denominator is going to need to have what? An r for sure. Thought we had a pirate in here. No? R! No? Okay. And we also need a 2, okay. And we also need 2r plus 3, okay. All right. And so now that we have our common denominator, we can say what our excluded values are. We always got to watch out for those. So our excluded values are excluded values. This one's going to be a fraction. R cannot equal negative 3/2. It was a typo. I know what you meant. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take the entire problem and we're going to multiply it by what? Oh, zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. There we go. Okay. We're going to multiply it by. Okay. So we're going to say 2r times 2r plus 3. We're going to do this times the first term, and the second term, and the third term. So I've got 2 over r times 2r times 2r plus 3. And after yesterday, you might have gotten to the point where you don't have to show quite so much work on these. kind of depends on how much sense it makes to your brain. Oh, of course I wrote a 3 with the marker. 2R plus 3. It looks scribbly, but that's a 2R plus 3. Pretend you can read it. Let's all pretend. Are you guys good at that? Pretending you can read it? Ugh. Okay. All right, so from the first term, what cancels? The R cancels. And we have a 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so 4 distributed gives us what? 8R plus 12. Okay. In the next term, what cancels? 2R and 2R plus 3. And so what do we have? Just 1. Okay. And then in the next term, what cancels? So we have a 2. Okay, so I'm going to write the minus. See how I wrote the minus and then I wrote my parenthesis? I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to distribute that negative correctly. So I'm not going to distribute the negative yet. I'm only going to distribute the 2. Okay, so when I distribute the 2, what do I get? 6 minus 2R. Okay. Are we comfortable with that? Every time I say R, I think of the pirate joke. And I just keep telling myself you can't make it more than once. It's only good the first time, you know? Or would it be good a second time? No, it's only good the first time? Yeah, it was. It was real good. It was so good. All right, so now what should I do? Distribute the negative. Was it good the first time? Mm-hmm. 1 minus 6 is -5. Okay. So now what should we do? We should what? Okay. Add the 5. Now, if we subtract the 2R, we're getting everything to the left side. Do we want to get everything to the left side? Okay, so we're going to have 8R plus 17 equals 2R. Then we can minus the 8R over. And then what should we do? So 17 over 6 with a negative in the front. Most people would put the negative in the middle or on top. You can leave it on the bottom. It's not wrong. It's just that most mathematicians would not do that. Most mathematicians would move it to the middle or the top. All right. Ooh, anyone notice the water level has gone down a little bit? Do you see it? Can you tell? Can you tell it's gone down? Sure, yeah, by all means. There's a sticky note right sitting there for a long, like I You can put it right at the water. Perfect. Does the plant look perkier to anyone? Are you sure? Maybe.
Maybe it's just my brain telling me that.
Does anyone have enough memory on their phone that we could do like the slow videotape, you know? Yeah.
Oh my god, I'll try.
And it'd be like, you know? Yeah, you can't have the brightness in the background.
Oh, I thought you meant your phone. No. Yeah, you can use your phone.
Here, I have this full can of water that's heavy.
What is that thing?
Whoa, fancy schmancy. How often do you record things at school that you need a whole tripod? Oh, that's fair. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Ooh, when you're done with this, are you going to show them? Yeah, it's legit. Legit. You'll be like, this is how bad Miss Rice is at watering her plants.
It's slow. Imagine skipping 15-hour video.
Can we periodically have people dance in the background?
Yes. We went outside in Spanish class yesterday and we took a time lapse of us jump roping.
I love it. Too bad we don't have jump ropes in here.
I can show it to you too.
Yes, I want to see.
You can see the clouds moving in the background.
Ooh, that is fun. Okay, one more, and then we shall be ready for the assignment today, I think. Yes. Okay. Now, we have to, before we conclude that this answer is perfect, we just have to compare this answer with the excluded values. So here's the answer. Let's compare it. R cannot equal 0. R cannot equal -3/2. Is there any issue there? No. Okay, so we're fine. All right. If the answer was an excluded value, then we would cross out the answer. And if that was the only answer, then we would go, whoops, no solution. Yep. Whoopsie daisies. All that work for nothing. Yet another time my teacher made me do all that work for no reason. Rude. Okay, example 6. This is the last one. This is it. Then we're ready. Okay, 1 over 3x to the third equals 1 over 3x minus x plus 1. Oops. X plus 1 over x squared. Okay. I'm sorry that you're being attacked right now. Yeah.
Don't even.
You guys think he's laughing, but he's actually trying to hold back tears.
Yeah. He said this yesterday as well.
He is regularly getting bullied in this class. Terrible. All right. Between the three... Goodness gracious. Come on!
Stop getting bullied.
This is supposed to be a place of acceptance. We accept all people, except Pete. Except for Pete's.
Well, just not. Other people are okay.
Other Pete's. Let's move on. All right, look at the denominators, and then let's decide what the common denominator is. 3x cubed. Common denominator is 3x cubed. What's our excluded value? X cannot equal 0, right? Okay. So, goodness gracious. Okay. Alright, so we're going to take the entire equation and we're going to multiply it by what? 3x cubed. And we're going to multiply this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. What do you guys see? Mm-hmm. So what do we see with the first term? Okay, so the whole thing cancels, we just get 1. What about the second term? Okay, so we have 1 times x squared is just x squared minus. Okay, and then what about the last? Okay, so what cancels? X squared cancels with 2 of those, leaves 1 behind. Okay, so we're going to take the 3x, and we're going to, oh, yes, I see what you did. Okay, so I'm going to put it in parentheses because I'm going to have to distribute the negative in a little bit. So we're going to do 3x squared plus 3x, which is exactly what you said. We just were not ready for it yet. You were thinking so fast. It was just like you were really, really quick on it, and we were like, what? What are you doing? What? Maybe we should switch to bully Noah.
Yeah. Or just bully everyone. I can't even remember his name.
All right, what do we do next? Distribute the negative. Now, Karina, when you were holding up the L on your forehead, it was backwards. You were you were actually calling yourself a loser. She was saying, I am loser. I am loser. There you go. Yeah, she was saying loser to myself. Loser to myself. You would know because you'd be like, I'm turning that way, hit this one. I'm turning that way. My wheel goes this way and I hit it as I go. That's how I think You guys are really acting like it's a Friday. Let's continue. All right. Combined like terms. What do we get? All right. So what type of equation are we solving? A quadratic. So how do we solve a quadratic? Yeah, so if you subtract the 1, you're going to have a negative in the front, which means you're going to have to factor out the negative. Or if you want to not deal with the negatives, you can add these over to the other side so you don't have to deal with the negatives. What would you guys like to do? Okay, so we'll add these over to the other side so we don't have to deal with negative coefficients. So we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 equals 0. And when we factor this, what type of factoring is it? Slide divide. How do we know it's slide divide? Because of the 2. It's got a number in front of the x squared. So we're multiplying to what? Multiplying to 2. Adding to 3. Okay. So what numbers multiply to 2 but add to 3? 1 and 2. And then once we slide and get the numbers, what do we do next? Divide. Okay. And then once we do that, what do we do? Okay, so we bottoms up this one, and this one can simplify. Okay, and so what are the two solutions we come up with from this? Okay, and now let's compare those two solutions with the excluded value. What was the excluded value? The excluded value is 0. So are these answers an issue when compared to our excluded value? They are not. So those are a good answer. Okay. For today's assignment, there are 2 worksheets and you get to choose the one that you do. Okay? So listen to the difference in the options, okay? Worksheet A is a little bit shorter, but the problems are a little bit more difficult. Worksheet B is a little bit longer, but the problems are a little bit easier. If you would like to do both of them, you will get regular credit for the first one, you will get extra credit for the second one. Okay? So I'm going to repeat the options. Worksheet A is a little bit shorter, but a little bit more difficult. Worksheet B is a little bit longer, but a little bit easier. You get regular credit for the first worksheet you complete. You get extra credit for the second worksheet you complete. Okay? I'm going to come around to each table. You're going to tell me what you want. Okay? All right.